Good morning. How are we doing today? I think we're gonna work on a planter a little bit. I got a truckload of seed coming here in like an hour, so we'll have to go unload that. But yeah, we're gonna work in here a little bit. We're gonna start taking apart some gauge wheels and stuff and going through this planter, making sure that we have all the parts or a list of everything that we need and can start getting it adjusted and put together the way we need. For example, we have a broken seed tube that Brock found yesterday. One of the tabs broken off of it. So that's on the list of things to replace. All right, well, I haven't got to working on the planter yet. Working on doing some stuff on the computer, updating some stuff with my John Deere, starting the process of starting to make up prescription maps for seeding and everything, starter rates and all that good stuff. We'll get there. I'll show you some of that at some point. I know it's not the most exciting thing, but we also had a meeting with our crop insurance adjuster this morning. I haven't talked about it a lot, but we had a fairly significant amount of vomitoxin in our corn. It kind of became a big deal right towards the end of harvest there. I talked about it a little bit, and we've been going through the process of testing our bins, testing the loads that we've been hauling in, trying to figure out how much we've got, how much it's going to cost us, and the levels and everything. And part of our crop insurance policy covers quality losses such as vomitoxin, stuff like that. So we're filing the paperwork to file a claim. We'll see how much, if anything, we get out of that, but that's why we buy the crop insurance, and it takes a really good record keeping to make sure that we've got all our ducks in a row to do that. So I don't know. Anyway, just was finishing that meeting up and got a call that my truck is here. So we've got to unload a seed truck. I have no idea where we're going to put all this. We'll figure it out, won't we? Well, that truck wasn't too much on there. We had a couple, 4 or 5 pallets of beans, bagged beans. We had a box up there, those 3, that one, and another one. So what's that? 6 boxes total. So that was a small truckload, but truckload nevertheless. And we have broken the center line of the shop. We're out more than halfway there. So at some point here, we're gonna have to move all this insulation and start unloading trucks through the door on the end, because we're gonna be able to have room to maneuver in here. Oh boy. Well, I got one more scheduled for Monday, I think, and then maybe after that we'll start getting some stuff moving around and getting it out of here. I don't know. We're making progress. It's gonna be good. So I'm sitting here on the computer going through some stuff here. Like, I just show you, I like to do this every winter just to kind of clean stuff up. It helps just keep stuff straight a little bit. But like, this is one of our fields, right? And so you can see the pink line is the boundary, and then the blue lines are the guidance lines. And if you look here, we've got a couple of little short ones in this corner. Those are probably created like a tillage line when we were doing some tillage or something. So I can come up here and click on guidance, and it shows me that whole list. Okay, so one of them was bean planting, and then track 1, that was probably tillage, something like that. We aren't going to use those lines again or every year or whatever, and so they're usually just a heading. You just punch in a point and type in a heading and go, and I don't need them saved in there. So I select all of those, archive them, get rid of them so that they're not clogging up the displays. And then I'm kind of looking at all these curve tracks, seeing like, are these good lines? Do I need to just get rid of them and make new ones? Like this one here is probably not a good line. And I a lot of times will write notes. So I pulled my notebook out of the planter. This is all my planting notes. And sometimes I write that down, you know. I don't know if there's any on this page or not, but sometimes I'll write in here like, you know, this line is no good, remap it or delete it. This one I said remap the whole boundary for that field. Just that kind of stuff. So I'm anything that is a known poor guidance line doesn't work, and it's usually curve tracks. I just get rid of them. That way they're not in the display. You can't select them and screw it up the next year, and I can just make new ones. So that's what I'm doing. Okay, enough working on the computer for a while. Let's do something a little more productive, shall we? We're going to take apart one of these row units here, take some openers off, or gauge wheels off, and look at the openers and just inspect everything. So we will start with this one. These are clearly the wrong wrenches, aren't they? That one is different than this one. Okay. Maybe we'll just start with this one because I have the right wrench. Okay, well, not exactly the start that we wanted. That did not come apart like it was supposed to. Those threads are supposed to be red Loctited into that casting, and not come out. There's another spot where it's supposed to come apart, but it didn't, and I can't hold that. And okay, whatever. It is what it is. Got to our openers so we can inspect a little bit. I'm fairly confident we replaced these last year. They look to be in pretty good shape. Gosh dang it. We got steel caps. Yeah, remember that? We put these steel caps on last year. So we're probably going to pop one of those off so we can measure the blades and look at it. We've also got a whole bunch of dirt down in there. So those have definitely got to get cleaned before we put them back together at a minimum. Yeah. How are we going to do this? Pull the tractor ahead a little bit or something and get the power washer over here and try and blow this stuff out, but that's not good. I don't like dirt. Certainly don't like it in there. So let's see, how are we gonna get that off there? We're gonna need a chisel or something and a hammer. Left-handed threads on this one. Remember that, it's left-handed threads. It's the opposite of what you think. Oh, come on. Watch all the dirt fall out of here when I take this blade off. Yeah. Okay. Well, everything in here looks okay. We put new seed tube guards in last year. Those are beefy. That's a aftermarket one that they're in really good shape, so that's good. I want to get a tape measure and measure the diameter of our blade. They start at 15.5, I believe. I think that's right. 15.5. When they get below 15, you're supposed to replace them. I'm pretty sure that's right. I was wrong. They start at 15. You replace at 14.5. These are just a hair under 15, but that's only 1 year's use. So they'll wear faster. The smaller they get or the more worn they get, I guess. But these are in great shape. No need to worry about them. The other thing we need to pay attention to is our NoTill Colders on here, which we're not really no-tilling, but do feel that these help, especially in beans with breaking up the stalks and stuff that are ahead of them. Yeah. Anyway, these we replaced a couple of years ago. They start at 15.86 inches, and we are right at 15. So there's some wear to them, but they have a lot of life left in them. The only thing we may need to look at is, let me go around the other side so you can see a little better, but there's some notches. You can raise and lower them. Right here. Can't hardly see it, but it's this. We could loosen this and drop them a notch if you want. The thing is, you do not want this to run lower than your seed discs, because then you'll get an uneven bottom of the seed trench and inconsistent depth and soil moisture and all kinds of other issues that could happen if you have them set too low. So the way to check that is to set the planter on the ground until the openers hit and then see what kind of a gap you've got underneath there. If it's more than 1/4 of an inch, we could drop them a notch. If it's less, you leave them alone. So one more thing that's got to happen on all of these rows, it does not have to happen right now, but it will before this planter leaves, is we need to check the gap on these openers, right? So we know that the openers are not worn out. What we don't know is if they are adjusted correctly. And the way you tell is basically you want this leading edge here to be touching on these openers for a certain distance. If you have too much contact distance, that means the blades are pressed too close together. It really stresses your bearings and can cause these rivets to break, the bearings to go bad, that kind of stuff. If you don't have enough contact area or none at all, then you're going to get a poorly formed seed trench. Things won't work very good from that standpoint. So what you want is for there to be 1.5 inches to 2 inches. They say 1.5 inches to 2.5 inches of contact area there, but we shoot for 2 inches. If we're over 1.5 inches, we're probably okay. So the easiest way to tell how much of it is touching is to take some business cards and shove them in there until they stick and they won't go any farther, and then measure the distance between them. In this case, we've got 1.75 inches. Well, that's not too bad. We're not going to worry about that. If it was less than that, we can take this blade back off, or one side or the other, and remove a shim, push them a little bit together closer. That's going to give us more contact area. Or if it's too close, so we've got more than contact area than we want, we put the shims back in, space the blades out a little bit, but that's how you adjust that. This one, it's in the spec. It's good. I do not like how dirty it is down in there. So obviously, but yesterday Brock was cleaning these meters up, right? And they're very dirty, the ones that are on here, but he's taking them off, washing them out, cleaning them up good, taking the seed tubes out and cleaning those up real nice. And so those are good. The what's left down in here is, all that dirt and stuff is after he pulls the seed tubes out, it gets packed in around them and stuff. Clearly, we should be pulling these things off when we're cleaning it and putting the planter away in the summer. It was a timing issue. It was getting late in the year because we have to leave it for double crop beans. We can't clean it up right when we're done planting beans because then we do double crops. And we were using this for that. And then it was into July and we had all kinds of other stuff going on. I was gone for a couple of weeks in the summer. Just never happened. We were lucky to get it power washed off and get the heavy dirt off of it. Didn't mess with cleaning out the meters and the row units, or pulling all that stuff off in the summer. So now we're paying for it and we get to do it now. But we've got time. It's okay. It's just cold out. So it's supposed to be fairly mild first of next week, like Tuesday in the high 40s, almost 50 degrees. I am thinking what we are going to do here is pull all those meters off and try and get this outside, and we'll be able to get the power washer hose down in there and wash it off good outside. And then it'll be much easier to put it all back together. So that's kind of my tentative plan at the moment. I'm going through the planter and looking for other parts that we need to change. Specifically right now I'm looking at gauge wheels. This one here, this one is in bad shape. That's got to get replaced. Once that edge starts delaminating or coming apart like that, no good. So that's the 5th one. That one's sort of bad compared to some of the other ones, but that one's number 5. This one here's got a big chunk missing. It's dirty too. So those are the ones I'm just going to keep working my way through. You kind of got to rotate them because sometimes it's just one little spot. And this one's not great, but it's still got a good edge on it. I don't think we'll replace that one. Might wear out before the end of the year, but we'll see. That one looks okay. That one looks okay. I get to that one in there. It's sort of hard to get to. This one looks like it's been replaced already. That one's good. That one's good. That one's okay. Yeah, so anyway, you get the idea. Well, this half of the planter was better than that half. There was just the 5. That one that I found was the last one. So I'll probably, we should go look. I'm going to pull one of the bad ones off. We're going to disassemble it, figure out what the part number is of the piece that we need, and then see what we got in the parts bin. Actually, we're going to look in the parts bin first. If I'm remembering right from last year, it's almost just as cheap and a whole heck of a lot easier to buy the whole assembly than to try and take these things apart and rebuild them, put new rubber on. Just buy them all already done. If I remember right. Let me look. We appear to have one new one right there, and another one over here. We have some rubber pieces over here, but I think these are for the drill, the air seeder, and they look the same, but they are not. Question is that for the air seeder or the planter? Let's pull this one out that I'm confident is for the planter and see if they match. They look about the same to me. Got to be some numbers on there somewhere, but I think those are, I think we've got two. Oh, we've got some over here. What are those? I'll have to look. Okay, it appears we have two brand new ones. We have another one that's a good used spare. We're going to keep that as a good used spare. We'll take these two and put them on, and I'll get 3 or 4 more. So we've got plenty and can change all the ones that are bad. That should work. Also got this one seed tube that we know we need to replace. I don't have any spares in the parts bin, which is I'm sort of surprised by, but we'll go ahead and get a couple of those ordered as well. Other than that, I don't know of any parts that we need right off the top of my head. Openers and colders are good. Those are the typical things that we see. I'm sure we have bearings around for closing wheels and stuff, so we'll have to go through and spin all of these. Make sure they spin and they're not rough, which those ones are good. Chains, sometimes we like to go through and put all new chains on. We'll have to at least look at them and make sure there's nothing too worn or frozen or anything like that. But we buy this special chain by the roll and can just change that all kind of on our own, make our own chains to replace those. That stuff is it's got a special coating on it, anti-corrosion coating that seems to work pretty good. Yeah, so we don't need to order that because I got a whole roll of it over there. Okay, well, I was ordering some parts, slight change of what we're doing there. Was talking to Phil about what I was finding on here and stuff, and so Phil, my uncle, he's the one that plants most of the beans. He runs this planter, not exclusively, but mostly. He's the one that runs this, so kind of just updating him on what we were finding. Told him that the openers and the no-till colders were all in good shape, but there's some gauge wheels to change and stuff. And he throws out that, hey, I'd like to try some of the spoked gauge wheels on that planter. Oh, okay. So rather than ordering some new of the style that we have on here, we ordered some spoked gauge wheels. I'll show you them when they come and why they're maybe an advantage to them, may not be. They're $150 a piece, and there's 64 of them on this planter, 2 on every row. So we're not going to just change all of them on the whole planter because money. But if you haven't noticed on this planter, we like to test things, and so we have multiple different things where they're not all exactly the same. For example, there's spiked closing wheels on that one row right there, and I think one of the rows ahead of it has cast spiked closing wheels, but all the rest of them are just the regular standard cast closing wheels. And there's different gauge wheel arm things. Like we have the RK kits, and on this row it's the old style kit, which is why it doesn't have the same bolt head as this one. That's the new style kit. And then we have some of the John Deere version on these rows down here. They're all a little bit different. Well, not all a little bit different, but there's 3 or 4 different styles on there. Just when we decided to upgrade them and try them and different things. So anyway, we're gonna try some spoked gauge wheels on there. But as I'm ordering parts, and I was ordering that seed tubes that we need, I realized that it's February. Do you know what we do in February? We order filters. So we need to take inventory. So up here, above our shop, see there, a tractor? Yeah. This used to be our office for a long time. Dad's desk sat right here. Phil's desk sat there. Mine sat back there. We did that until we built a new office down there, which is much, much nicer. But now we use it for filter storage. And so these shelves up here have all of our filters that we use for all of our tractors and equipment throughout the year. And in February, our John Deere dealer has a filter sale. They're 10% off or 12% off or whatever. I don't know. It's the cheapest price you're going to get on them all year. So I need to take inventory. Oh, look, there's another one of those sheets. How about that? Anyway, I printed off this list of all of our tractors, all of the filters, the part number of the filter, and how many we need for each piece of equipment. And we're going to go through and mark off the ones that we still have. Because at this point, we've changed the filters and oil and everything, at least on the primary use tractors. Some of the older tractors we still haven't done, but we want to make sure that we have one of every filter on this shelf. One of every filter for every tractor on this shelf, I guess I should say. So a lot of them use the same filter on, you know, multiple pieces of equipment. We want one for each of those things. So that if we need to change something in season, we have it on stock. Next winter, when we are changing stuff in December and January before the February filter sale, we've got them on hand, and we bought them a little bit cheaper. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to go through here and see what we've got. All right, well, I've taken inventory. We have a few that I'm not sure what they're for. There's this one here that's a DZ number, which it looks like the size of some of the old engine oil filters, but that's a different part number than I have on my sheet. So I wonder if they subbed it up and I didn't get it adjusted. So we're going to look into that one. We have a pile down here that are for the 8300 that we don't own anymore, that don't seem to fit anything else that we have. So I got to figure out what we're going to do with those. We have a pile up here that are for the 580 backhoe that we sold like 2 years ago. So I don't really know what to do with those. I'm not sure what this one is for. It's a Deere part number, but it's not on my list. So yeah, I'm not sure, but we're gonna go through the list and get ordered what we need, and then someday we're gonna have to clean this out a little bit. That's what I think. What do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, got a lot of stuff up here we don't use that we shouldn't have.
Yeah, just go tell us to break it.
Tell you to break it. Yeah, you would have some fun with that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, Grandpa didn't throw his fridge on, and he started breaking it.
You already started breaking it? Yeah, Grandpa had his garage fridge quit, and he threw it out back. So you just beating it up with a hammer or what? Yeah.
I broke a nice chunk with that hammer.
Oh my goodness. Well, $3,200 worth of filters later, we've got the order placed, and they'll probably show up here on Tuesday. Just bring them to me. It's awesome. Anyway, it's 5 o'clock-ish, and on a Friday, and it's Brayson's birthday, and so we're gonna go out and celebrate tonight, and again tomorrow. He apparently gets 2 days, but going bowling tonight, one putt-putting tomorrow. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great weekend. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. I will see you again next week. I don't know what's going on next week. We're working down there and probably down at the seed warehouse and all kinds of stuff. But don't forget to subscribe, like the video. Thanks for watching. See you guys next week. Brayson. Hey, Brayson.
What?
Happy birthday, dude. Happy birthday. For your video, for my video. Say, thank you, Dad. No, you don't have to say happy birthday to yourself. You're supposed to say, thanks, Dad.
Thanks, Dad.